All right, so this is our headline drill-in part 2. And so for those of you that missed last week, I think most of you made it up. We're just really trying to drill in on our headline writing, and mainly by looking at examples of what we do right and what we could improve on, and moving forward from there. So a couple of things. Oh, Amy did not make a final decision on the standalone photos, putting photo first, so I need to follow up with her on that. I'm sorry. So we're just going to drill in on headlines and go around the room and say how they could be better, or if they're perfect, or whatnot. So Mark, we'll start with you.
Oh, great.
With, as the team leader, with moisture-packed storm could dump feet of snow in Colorado.
What am I doing now?
Tell me if it's a good SEO headline, if it's a good headline for our audience, what you would improve upon, or if you wouldn't improve upon it, if the length is right.
Well, I'd say foot of snow, but yeah.
I think we were trying to vague it up because it was, 3 or 4 feet in some places, but.
Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. It's got Colorado, it's got storm,
So.
snow.
Exactly. So snow, Colorado storm, those are the things that people will be Googling. We're probably not going to trend for Colorado snowstorm in general. The Denver Post has a much bigger paper than us for that. So from an SEO perspective, we have what we can in there. And for our audience, it's exactly the information they need to know that they want to click on it and read more. So, Michael, bill to allow quick response to mine spills passes Colorado House.
Should be an active head, University of Colorado House passes the bill.
Exactly, and we do that a lot. Other than that, we have Colorado House in there. Yeah, that we're talking about a bill, so pretty spot on there. Pat, Miss Hozoni pageant. Did I say that right?
Mm-hmm.
No. Really? I say everything wrong. Hozoni. I know, I was like, I say everything wrong. Surely I did not say that correctly. Miss Hozoni pageant, a test of cultural lessons.
How about test cultural lessons? Would that look better?
I think that would be great. One thing is, remember, the beginning of our headline and the end is where we want SEO words to really shine. And obviously, Miss Hozoni pageant shines up there at the front. David? New Mexico's beastly badlands, a necropolis of hoodoos and ziggurats. Ziggurat? I can't speak. We all know that. I'm not in broadcast for a reason.
Just from an SEO perspective, that's all right. New Mexico, Bisti Badlands, it's locating you. I don't know how many people are going to be searching for hoodoos and ziggurats. That might be a little problematic, but I kind of like the headline. I mean, it's interesting.
Exactly, and this is one, again, where you need to balance both your audiences. So from an SEO perspective, we have New Mexico, we have Bisti Badlands. Is that how you say it? Did I say it right? Bisti. I just struggle with pronunciation. I am so sorry, y'all. And so for search, we have the two kind of keywords up there. And then for our audience, you're a little bit like, what exactly does this mean? I'm a little bit intrigued. I'm going to delve in. So I think that's a great headline for balancing both our search and our core audience. Nicholas, Durango Blues Meltdown is this weekend?
It's very clear.
That's right, Nicholas.
He's about to smack you, but...
More interesting than that?
Yeah, it's pretty lame.
It's a little flat, and as Michael was talking about, active is really good. However, we do get at the beginning, Durango Bluegrass Meltdown is right at the front. Now that's one where I might go to trends and see if people search Bluegrass Meltdown, and if that is specific enough to Durango to just put that in there, or if they do search Durango Bluegrass Meltdown. I don't know. I'm not very familiar with it, but that's
I think they do search
Durango.
Yeah.
So then you've made that decision and you go with that, and that's spot on. So you might say I don't know.
Just sex it up.
Nicholas and the Bucks to shine at Durango Bluegrass Meltdown.
Pretty bad.
Yeah. So highlighting a band might be a good way to get some more in there. So Katie, Gourmet Appalachia.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. It was probably a good centerpiece headline for print.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would probably throw in a verb or two and maybe a place besides Appalachia, because
grilled cheese colon gourmet, I believe.
That actually is great. I mean, that's great for our audience. And you know, these sometimes our food headlines are where we get these kind of kicker headlines on feature sections that we end up accidentally putting in on the web. I mean, something simple like that. Like, yeah, we're not going to necessarily trend for grilled cheese, but that makes our core audience that's already seen that story know a little bit more what it's like and be like, oh, how do you make country grilled cheese? I want to know. Amy, Bayfield okay, I just need to give it up. Bayfield octogenarians lose thousands in roofing scam.
I came in late, what's the instruction?
The instruction is to tell me if the headline is perfect, if it needs improvement, if it's a good SEO headline, if it's good for our audience, or where it stands.
I would not lose octogenarians because people can't say it and people don't know it, so elderly couple. Elderly Bayfield couple scammed out of thousands.
Again, that kind
Which is
of.
a little sexier.
Mm-hmm.
And, when you say thousands scammed out of thousands, as opposed to, I think that's, and if you read it that way when you're aloud, when you're reading it online, that makes it better.
Yeah.
So what do we think about not saying thousands of dollars?
Yeah, that's probably more specific.
You're never gonna fit thousands of dollars in the newspaper.
No.
Maybe on the web it's okay, but maybe it's a net head and then on the newspaper.
Yeah, because you don't necessarily know what thousands means. I mean, scammed out of thousands, that's talk, that's how you would say that generally if you're telling your friend, hey, oh yeah, did you hear about that? They were scammed out of thousands. But dollars is more specific.
And I could go either way. It is more specific, which is great for SEO. That said, if you're looking for a Bayfield roofing scam, again, you're going to Google Bayfield roofing scam, maybe Bayfield, Colorado roofing scam. Again, we have Bayfield at the front, roofing scam at the end. So, those are really key points. Sicky, are you ready?
Yes.
End of an era for Appaloosa Trading Company owner. I can't talk today.
I don't know if the owner's well known enough to get his name in there, if that matters.
Really?
I don't know, end of an era doesn't really say anything. Like, I know the story's about it closing, but it could mean that it's being sold or changing into something else, so I make it a little more specific without giving away the story.
So a couple things. One, again, that SEO at the words at the beginning, at the end, we put our main SEO word right in the center. So we would want to move that. And I will be honest, end of an era is my least favorite headline of all time. I've seen it about 15 times on things that are actually not the end of an era. So just watch that kind of thing. And you're right, you don't know what that means. Doesn't mean he has cancer and he's dying. Doesn't mean they're closing the shop. Doesn't mean, what exactly does it mean? So we just need to be a little more clear. All right, Melanie, can you guys go off mute and you and Carol get Broncos to visit Durango?
It's clear. Can you hear us?
Yep.
Okay. It needs a little more in my opinion.
And I will be honest, I didn't read this one because I didn't really care. But, if there were some big names in there.
They don't know. They don't know who they're gonna.
They don't tell you.
Okay. So
Well,
then
it definitely needs Denver.
maybe I would say Denver Broncos, comma, the cheerleaders, right? They're coming. I think that gets people a little bit jazzed up.
Does it need Denver?
Yeah, I think,
You can go either way on that.
I think people would Google Denver Broncos, maybe.
I mean, Broncos could be horses are coming to it.
It could, and plus, I mean, think with Google Instant too, is that, if you do Denver B, it autofills in Broncos. If you start, depending on what you type in there, Broncos, Durango, it may autofill in Denver. So that's one of those ones where when I say you're an expert on search, go search it. Go see kind of what pops up, what Google autofills in. All right, team over there in Cortez, the Animas River cleanup hauls 1,286 pounds of trash off banks. That's yours.
I would just take off the the two words off banks to make it shorter.
Excellent. And again, we have,
It looks pretty good.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Oh, I just thought it looks pretty good, but yeah, like you said, maybe off banks or just hauls in 1286 pounds of trash.
So one thing here, and we talked about this with the cheese headline last week, is things like this, 1,286 pounds of trash, whatever the cheese was, 1,200 pounds of, I think it actually was 1,200 pounds of cheese. Those kinds of things, are you going to Google 1,286 pounds of trash, Animas River? No. But if you're on our website and you see that over a ton of trash was hauled off the riverbanks, are you more likely to click on that story? Yeah, because it's not like the Herald employees out picking up a bag of trash. You know, it's a significant thing. So that's, this is a good one where we're having, Animas River cleanup at the front is a great SEO, and then having that number is really speaking to our core audience and giving them a reason to click on that story. And we're looped back around. Mark, learn about Online Academy on Tuesday.
I would start all over.
Can you tell me what that story's about?
No, I would start all over and say what the academy is. Don't even know if Tuesday would be in the headline, probably not.
That is a good summary of that headline.
There's just nothing there, I don't know.
Michael, you're up with the drought?
I don't like hyphen words at the beginning. I like to put it at the back, study says. Start with drought cry.
Why do we even have to have the word study in there necessarily? It's not on the editorial in the story, it's going to reference the study. It just slows you down.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's kind of what Michael said about, having those starters. They're kind of stops. I mean, when we put punctuation at the beginning of a headline, and I fall into that trap all the time, particularly with Adventure Prep, but we are telling readers to stop all of a sudden. And so if you're telling readers to read the word study and stop, that's a pretty bad user experience, because why do I want to stick around after I see the word study?
Well, I mean, to defend that though, I mean, it's one person's opinion. It's this study. Nobody really knows, so. I mean,
To Amy's point, that we do define that in the story a little bit. I think it could go either way. I'm not saying there's.
It says in the story and that it's a study. It does.
And then this is a headline where there's not a ton of words to really SEO up. The Pueblos, that's not going to do anything. It's kind of a generic term. So this is one where it's good for our audience, and it's a good story when we put it on social with a photo where it has that photo and a headline to really draw folks in. So again, we've talked about before, you can't win on everything. So this is not one that necessarily wins on SEO, but for our audience, and when we put it on social, we did have some big wins with this story because people do care about this.
And I also think about this, if I'm Googling, am I going to say, am I going to put in Google what broke the Puebloan social fabric? I don't use the word social fabric in my everyday vernacular. I don't know what social fabric means. I mean, it's a little esoteric. It's social fabric is really like what professionals talk about. We don't talk about that. I mean, does anybody use that in a common language? Drought drove Puebloans away or whatever it did. I think that's. Drought is a big here. Puebloans. Those are the two things. I think that those are the words you drill in on and that crack the social fabric. That's a little oof, a little esoteric there,
All right, where are we at, Pat? So we're cutting Amy off now. Pat, is it your turn? Are we on you?
Yeah. That's a little long, but it's just what, we can just maybe head on. Shorten.
So the only thing that I may have done differently on this headline is sometimes I do like to get the age in there, so girl, 8. Does that change your search? Does that change anything? No. It's probably not going to change the likelihood of folks clicking on it either. But, This is one we're not going to trend for SEO, and again, unless you're looking at La Plata Highway crash, which a lot of people do. So that's good. You get home and you check on that. But what really happened is if you saw this wreck, you got home and you checked the Herald because you knew we were going to have it. And so girl killed in head-on crash is a good headline for that. Making sure we get La Plata Highway in there, and that's, you know, that's better than some random number a lot, I think, when we use these terms that people use for these roads. So, and then also good on the AP style here. Remember, starting in June, we never use accident anymore. It's crash or wreck. It's a change in the AP style book. All right. Oh, I spelled this wrong. That was mascot, David, just so you know that. This one's yours. Native American Mascot Commission, a model for nation.
I like mascot.
Is it, what?
That's not mine. Is that right?
No, I'm saying it's yours to critique,
Oh, I see.
and I've mistyped mascot. So don't think mascon is some word you don't know.
I guess I'd want to know why it's the model for the nation there, like a little more specificity, you know. But I have to say, reading that story, it's a little difficult to pull a good headline out of it because you do, I guess I'm thinking print, but you can go longer on net.
I would have thrown the word Colorado in there
Yeah, sure.
because
sure.
I don't know if we're talking about some national commission.
Right. I would say, I would have the commission making it, you know, taking whatever the actions, I think they recommended like dialogue in communities or something like that. Not that those would be good words for the headline, but, so the commission doing something like Native American group recommends discussion about mascots or something to give it some action is what I'm saying. So, but I guess mascot and Native American, as long as those words are in the headline in terms of a search, that's probably pretty good.
Nicholas, James Ranch?
I move James Ranch up to the front. That would be like James Ranch pastures to remain undeveloped forever. I like the word forever.
So one, you know, we learned from both this story and the Appaloosas Trading Company story that these are two places, or I learned, I should say, you guys probably know this, that our readers are very familiar with, are very passionate about, tend to typically, you know, I've learned from social, tend to typically have some special story associated with these places. So as much as sometimes we think folks aren't going to search our local places, they are, because they had some experience when they were visiting here or rolling through and hitchhiking or whatever. So yeah, so moving James Ranch up, and then even, you know, to remain undeveloped forever is not something you're going to really search for, but you know, this is one of those stories that if you search James Ranch, it should pop up, and we're telling folks what's happening here with a good headline that our core audience is going to care about. And this one and the Appaloosas Trading Company one are two that did really well on social, because we do, you know, because we push more news out on social, we deliver to a bigger audience that's not always coming to our site on social. And that audience that cares periodically about what we have cared about those stories. All right. Katie, you get our sports one. Prep Spotlight. Bayfield to McGahee has versatility to make him a Skyhawk.
I think it's all right. It's kind of long, so but I think I don't know. Do you need the prep spotlight? I mean, there's the colon, so that kind of chops it off. But I think, yeah, maybe you don't need it.
No,
but
I
then,
don't think you need it.
if you take it off, though, that doesn't really that. Without the prep spotlight, which is sort of ambiguous to begin with, like if I'm not a sporto, I don't really know what that means, right? So then if I take that first part off completely, then I really don't know what that means.
I will say one thing that we in news tend to do a lot is talk about preps. Most of the world calls it high school sports. So we get really into our own heads with the word preps. And so I would take out prep spotlight entirely. And then the other thing, yep, I would throw his first name in there. And the other thing is, for an SEO perspective, Skyhawk's not something people search. We've seen again and again, they search Fort Lewis College. So, I mean, that would make it a little bit longer, and sometimes we have to suck up, you know, length for accuracy or specificity. So, we just have a couple more we're going to roll through here, and then we'll drill in on your guys' headlines. Sam,
Yes.
Ignacio School District opens new bus barn.
Ignacio School District at the front is good. I guess if you're a parent that cares about the buses, you're gonna Google Ignacio School District bus. So, I don't know, I don't see anything wrong with it, I guess.
All right, I think it's spot on, very clear. Amy Westbrook throws winner at the Able.
I don't know what that story is about. I don't know what the story is about enough to even suggest who's Westbrook, what's he throwing at Able. Why is it Kate involved?
Exactly. So one, we've talked a little bit before about watching words that have multiple headlines. Throws could mean toss. It could mean, purposely forfeits. Could mean they, snagged a winning thing. Able is typically a name. We don't know. It's actually a big wrestling tournament.
For real, what is the story?
It's about a kid at a wrestling tournament. So, just drill in more.
So did you actually throw the winner?
I don't know what throws him.
I don't read the story.
He throws him off his
He
game.
threw him down, I think, is what I was getting.
Threw him off the winner's pedestal?
Yeah.
Melanie, you chime in there?
It was a track meet, able last invitational, so locals know what it is, but Durango people probably don't.
And then throws winner. He threw a winning shot put or something. So we need to be more specific. Track, shot put, etc. Mark, go ahead.
I think there was a subhead underneath it.
And just remember, that's why we're drilling in so much on these, is because on a lot of the websites you can't see the subhead. So, Mark, what? It's your turn. Doobie Sisters marijuana store to open in Cortez.
Headline Doobie Sisters. It's just fine.
I don't see anything wrong with this.
I think this is a killer headline for your website. This is a killer headline for search. This is a great headline. Doobie Sisters at the front, Cortez at the end. Anytime you can get marijuana in there. I would maybe say.
Are we okay replacing marijuana with pot? Is that okay?
I think we should look at Google Trends and see what people search more often and make that the policy. I don't know what the AP style is. So we'll need to drill into that, basically.
But in terms of people who get the nitpickers who say it's not pot, it's marijuana because it's a euphemism and it makes it look bad, I don't care. No, marijuana, pot.
Seems like marijuana is better, that's exactly what it is.
I mean,
Pot,
for
lots
online
of
headlines, we should see what search trends and use that for online, but for use in headlines and
Pot.
print,
For one
if you
column.
need pot, then you need pot.
Ain't that the truth?
All right, Michael, you win with this last one from a current existing one. Band gives gift of music at nursing home.
That's right.
It's a little trite. I personally don't know if they handed out harmonicas or if they played.
Yeah.
I don't know what the band is, and I don't know what the nursing home is. I may have more of a vested. Where is it? Yep. I may have more of an interest if it's West Hills Nursing Home in Rapid City, South Dakota, or if it's, the Sex Pistols. The band and the location are both really important, so we just need to drill in on that. All right, now we're going to quickly go through the ones that you guys sent in. I do want to say, as much as we just went through and criticized these headlines, one, they're not near as long as I've been seeing. Two, there's a ton more win on these than we've seen in the past. Good word choice. Make sure you're using first and last names when you can. Pay attention to the placement of the words, but you guys are really improving, and we're seeing that across the board. So as we're about to attack all of your headlines.
Didn't we just do that?
So these are the ones you guys sent me. So Michael sent, actually, do I have these? Yeah. Michael sent AMC Theaters, boss backs off plan to allow moviegoers to text. That was his online headline, and his print headline was quick, delete that text with the subhead here. Katie, drillin'.
We were supposed to give you the same headline?
Yeah, did you not do that?
No.
I caught that on many people.
I like that there is definitely the difference between print and online. Instead of just keeping quick delete that text, and just using that. And the net head's good because it's a combination of the main head and the sub. I think it's all right.
All right. Amy, you get this one from Sam. Print headline was Deer Live the Durango Lifestyle on Easy Street. And the net header was Action Line Investigates Urban Deer Population.
What am I supposed to do for it?
Tell if we did a good or bad job on the net header.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yes, we did. The only thing I want to emphasize on these net headers for columns is that on our website, the column kickers do show up. So what happened with this one is it said Action Line in bold, and then it said Action Line Investigates Urban Deer Population.
Okay.
So spot on with where you're going, but just keep in mind how it displays on different
I
spots.
didn't realize the kickers stayed on there.
Can we call it Smedley instead of Action Line?
What?
Smedley.
No.
But that doesn't show up on mine. Where
Yep.
in the breadcrumbs it does.
Right here, Money Savvy, and then the headline. What's up downtown, and then the headline. Action Line, and then the headline.
But then when you click on the actual story, that's
And that's why you have to think about all of these places it shows up. It's, you know, it's really strange to really try to think through where everything goes. All right.
But my argument there, if we're looking at searching, people would use the word search terms action line to see the newest action line column, the most recent.
Which is already embedded in there by our taxonomy. So we don't need to double up on that. Because we put the action line category on there, right?
But that's not part of the headline, so it's not.
It's part of the meta tag, so it's searchable by default. Sorry, I'm gonna have to page through here. So Cliff had the headline in print, Barking Mad, I think it was. I didn't go pull it up, I believe that's what it was. And then Barking Dogs Ordinance reflects changing neighborhoods. I will take this one. The only thing I would have put in here probably is La Plata County and been a little bit more active instead of reflects changing neighborhoods. I think that's a really good thing for Michael drilled in on that we do need to focus on a little bit. Pat, you get Dave. Oh, David's are two. Oh,
Sorry about that, I just submitted it in the wrong, I didn't have the right concept when I submitted
I
it.
caught it with most people. I'm sorry. This is your print headline, right? The Find Jupiter, then leap into Leo the Lion.
Yeah, that's for the astronomy conference, so my thought was you're just looking at that guy's call sig with the, what's up in Durango skies, that's your context for it. That's why it works in print, but I don't think it's that great in online. And then I wrote the net header for the dog.
Sorry, so.
That's what I was doing when I wasn't following instructions.
That's great. Samantha, we'll give you marks. Democrats vie to take on Tipton was a print headline, and Democrats hope to unseat Colorado Representative Scott Tipton. This is online headline.
I think it's good. It's got Scott Tipton first and last. And Democrats, Colorado. Maybe Colorado Democrats. Moving that to the front in case people were looking at searching for the race or whatever.
That's a good point, because if you type in Democrats, you do get quite a wide variety of stuff. Michael, you get Katie's. A&E editor torches past an introduction. Katie had the same headline in print and online.
Yeah, Michael.
I'm lazy, but. I don't know, I like it. I think it works well.
Lazy, you upside the bed.
I would have said A&E, Harold names new arts entertainment editor. People don't say A&E in the real world, we say A&E. Harold, making that connection between the
I would put
Harold.
Katie's name in there.
Yeah, maybe help for the. I don't want to be all like,
When I Google search,
Yeah, but they may be
pops up.
searching your name.
A&E,
Harold is new, Harold,
yep, named new arts. Arts and entertainment's like preps. We get it in our own heads that everybody knows what this word means, and they don't. So just keep things like that in mind. Patrick State offers assistance to pay heating bills, was his online head, and his print head was State offers assistance with heating bills with the drop head of deadline to apply is April 30th. I'm going to take this one. It's very clean. We're not going to really trend for SEO on this, but there's not going to be that many people Googling something to try to get help with their heating bills from the state that know enough about this to Google it to get this result. They might be, how do I get help with my heating bill? That's pretty generic, and we're not going to trend for that. And it tells our readers that are on our site. Colorado would be good. That's a good point. And you can see, obviously, how easy it is to overlook that. David, you get Nick's. The top one was our online or our print headline: Congress EPA with the subhead "Protracted beating up of the agency, no substitute for fixing the real problem."
Is this on an editorial?
It is. And then online, you did Congress is beating up of EPA, no substitute for real fix.
I like the net header a lot better than the print headline.
I do too.
I just find our editorials are so wordy and just like that headline just reminds me of how our editorials read. Like I can't get through this sentence without like drilling my pencil through my head.
There's some really good.
I'm not kidding you.
No, I agree, yeah, our headlines should be like 4 or 5 words instead of those 2 words and then the drop.
Yeah. I mean, I like the net header.
I think the net header has some really good word choices here.
Yeah.
Beating up, no substitute, real fix. I mean, those are just really solid words to get you a little bit more engaged. Not sure why you're laughing, Nick, but. Katie, you get Jacobs. Cortez solar panels will benefit low-income households was his net header. Volunteers help install solar panels. Students join. This is his subhead.
Before you do that, I have a question on just the word. I see it everywhere now. Is poor banned? Did I miss that memo from the AP? Can you not say poor anymore?
Poor?
We never say it's low income everywhere. Yeah, it's low income. You never see poor.
Poor has poor has a different meaning depending on how you're using it. It doesn't always mean just having no money.
That's what it means, though.
You
It
could
means
say,
low
yeah, but
income.
that was a poor excuse. That's the only thing that
I'm just saying. I can't.
I mean, some people
You
might
never
take
see
that
it
as
anywhere.
pejorative, but, I mean, poor is also a little
I do.
subjective.
So it's low income.
Well, low income is like a government definition, I think, right?
It doesn't really look like there's anything on the AP style book. I mean, low income
You
is.
see poor anywhere. You see low income everywhere.
I mean, low income is. I mean, as Amy says, how the government determines those things. So, it is being a little bit more precise. Amy, go. Or Amy. Oh my God. Katie, go. Solar panels.
Okay, so which one was the print one, the bottom?
Yep.
Okay, I kind of like the idea of the volunteers being in the net header as well. So somehow working that in. Because it's, that would be the only thing I think I would do, is to try to get in the, like if we could smush the net head and the print head together into one thing.
And I think you're right. And while, again, volunteers is not necessarily a search word, if you're on the site, volunteers is kind of more of a grabby thing. Particularly to me with installing solar panels, because that sounds hard. So, all right, Sam, we're going to look at Jardins. So the top one is his print headline with his subhead, and the bottom one, which is just the same headline, is his online head.
Is that guy's name?
Yes.
Well, it's good. Has first and last. Signs with Adam State. Those are at the beginning and the front. I think it's good.
I think this is one where it definitely works. The same works in print and online. Precise and to the point, and it's nice to have that subhead, obviously, in print. All right, Amy, you get Trent's. Best of the Year is our print headline, and Dolores named Citizen and Business of the Year is our net header.
Well, yeah, the print is only good for print. The net header, I think it's good, it's Dolores, I would guess I would say Dolores who, the chamber, the city, something more definitive that, but it doesn't get, also it doesn't give it away, so people will click to see who was the citizen or the business of the year. I would just use, if it was Dolores Chamber of Commerce, city, whoever it is, the agency or the group that named those.
Now this is one where we kind of fuzzed it up a little bit to try to get the click through. We've done that before in the Herald quite a bit. One thing you want to do when you do that is make sure that those names, the business name and the citizen names, are either in your first graph or your second graph. If they're any lower, they're not really going to get picked up by the spider. So if you do something that fuzzes stuff up a little bit, get your names up high. Okay? All right, next week we're delving into live video and what you need to know for your particular job for doing live video. And if we need to, we'll drill on headlines again, but for the next week or two, we're just gonna kind of sit and watch because I think you guys really have the tools and are starting to really improve and know where we're working toward and why we're working toward it. So we're seeing some good wins here. So thank you.